All right. All right. So I don't make a lot of Game of Thrones videos, but there are a lot of people who are disappointed in Game of Thrones this season, and I'm one of them. There's a few things I'm disappointed in, but overall, overall, I'm not. I'm not disappointed overall. You know what I'm saying? Game of Thrones is a very, very intense show. I think that they raised the bar. I think that they raised the bar for all shows. Um, I think the writing bar has been raised. I think the CGI bar has been raised. They threw down the gauntlet. They drew a line in the sand. And they're telling everyone, look, you guys, if you want to do major productions, you got to come with it. Now, we know what they did. We know that they changed a lot. You know what I'm saying? We know that the episodes in the books are not the same. They're the whole thing about the Valonqar, Maggie the Frog. Ah, the story arcs are just and you killed Maggie. You killed Maggie because of what she said, but what she said didn't come true. Some of what she said didn't come true. You know what I'm saying? But you offed Maggie. You know what I'm saying? Maggie was in the woods, even though she was on Lannister land. She was on your land, but she was in the woods minding her business. And you went to her and asked her a question, and then you killed your friend because your friend heard what you said. Ah, Cersei. Ah, and the way they, hey, Muna, and the way they killed Cersei, it's so it crushed by uh crushed by a building. No, no. Her and Jamie Lannister. Listen, listen. Cersei and Jamie were more villainous than the Night King himself. You know what? I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you all the way on that because okay, okay. So everything is already shot. It's not like they can go look at the crowd's reaction and go, "Oh, okay, we're gonna change this." Everything's already done. But I'm with you because if little Arya can survive that butt kicking that she got from the freaking dragon losing its damn mind. Yeah, yeah. So I'm with you, and I was hoping the same thing. It's because, and it's simply because of the way that they did it. It was so we're not sure. Like we're sure that the Cleganes are gone. We're sure that there's the Clegane Bowl. We seen that to the end. I mean, we seen Clegane Bowl. We got what we wanted. The story arc on both of those characters ended. We're like, okay, Clegane Bowl. Red Ross, Clegane. We felt good about Clegane Bowl. You got top approvals out of Clegane Bowl. However, the main villain for the past 8 years gets a building dropped on her. No, 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 no. No, we're not having that. Well, everybody expect, even he expected that. He let us know. Sandor was like, "Look, I'm not coming back. That's just that." And she was like, "Well, neither am I." But when he went to scrap it out, he was like, "You go up there with me, you're leaving this planet right now." Because I plan on leaving. Like, and it was so delicious when they fought. It was so worth it because, for one, the only person who could stand up to the mountain is Sandor. He's done it before. You know what I'm saying? Um, he's the only one out of all the soldiers. You know what I'm saying? He's the only one out of all the soldiers that you wanted to see kill the mountain. You didn't want to see someone else come out of nowhere and beat the mountain. We that you would have lost so many fans by doing it. Like, wait, who's it? Like if Braun came up and killed the mountain. Like, no, we don't want to see Braun killing the mountain. No, we want to see Sandor. You know what I'm saying? Or if when Clegane, when Sandor fought against chick from the Sapphire Isles, Jamie Lannister's new lover, when he fought against her, you know, we're glad he didn't die. We kind of knew he wasn't gonna die. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It would have been disappointing if he would have died by anyone else's hand. Now, I gotta say, I didn't see Kyburn dying like that. I mean, he died by his own creation. So, Kyburn dying like that is kind of a surprise. And the way Cersei just sauntered off, like, that's your problem. Yeah, nobody saw Kyburn just getting dashed. But this is what the Cleganes do. They dash. They dash people's brains out. And that's exactly what happened to Kyburn. The same thing that happened to the Targaryen babes. That's what Sandor is good for. Or not Sandor, but the mountain. That's what he does. He's super strong and he'll just throw your whole face up against the wall and let that be the reason. And he has a thing with faces. He'll just throw your whole head up against the wall. He's super strong. So I'm with you on Cersei. I don't think Cersei's dead. Now we've seen. Well, okay, so we were hoping that Jamie was gonna knock her off, right? Because of what the Valonqar said. And then we was like, Tyrion. Maybe Tyrion will do her in. But Tyrion, he loves his sister, you know? You can. Yeah. But we're not, but that isn't what we're getting. So, we got two brothers that are you would think are still alive. So you could have Jamie die and then Tyrion somehow. But I don't think. But Tyrion was trying to save her life. He was trying to send her across the narrow sea. So I don't know. The way I wish her story would have ended with Jamie, not with Jamie. Yeah, he really loves Cersei. They hate him, but he loves them. Well, you know why he loves Jamie, because Jamie was his only friend. He was a monster. He is a smart monster. Jamie was his only friend, so you know, you know, Jamie didn't abandon him. So he was like, "Nah, I'm not gonna abandon you." Jamie saved it. Jamie really loved him. He really loved Tyrion, and he saved his life more than once. And you see how it was repaid. You could tell that his sister really didn't love him, but he still loves her. I mean, if we're gonna look at a prophecy, then if we're gonna look at the prophecy, then I guess it would be Tyrion. But now it's like, why, after Tyrion tried to save you and send you across the narrow sea, why would he turn around and kill you? That would be some strong writing right there. It would be okay. Here's the way I see this happening. Okay, I'm just throwing this out there. Stay with me. Okay, so the Red Keep is pretty much, you know, it Maegor's Holdfast is where they were. So Maegor's Holdfast is pretty much. Oh no, I'm losing it. My charger. Oh, stay with me. Stay with me. My charger is not the greatest. Okay, so Maegor's Holdfast is not the greatest, right? So okay, so it's all the Red Keep is all come down on it, right? So here's what I'm thinking. Here's what I'm thinking. Somehow, some way, they go looking because they know she was in the Red Keep. So they see that most of it's knocked down. So the Dragon Queen, in her hysteria, is over there looking for Cersei some kind of way. So I don't know. Somebody removes some rubble. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So she really wants her, especially because she executed her friend. So she goes over there. I don't know. The dragon removes some rubble. Out crawls Cersei. Whatever. And it's kind of like when Cersei did the whole walk of shame thing. So Cersei's standing before everyone, right? She's there, clothes all ripped up, dusty, everything. Dragon getting ready to hit her with the Dracarys. And Dragon Queen looking over her. And also, Tyrion is there. So Tyrion is like trying to save his sister, like he's been trying to do. He tried to save your stupid behind, but you weren't listening. So Tyrion, okay, so the Dragon Queen also knows that Jaime was in there. Like he could see Jaime's hand. She could see Jaime's hand, right? So she's like, how did Jaime get here? So when she looks at Tyrion, Tyrion can see Jaime's hand, sees that he's dead, looks at the Dragon Queen. She knows the only way he got there is because you let him, like, you betrayed me. And that's the word she's going to use. She's going to say, you betrayed me. And he's going to be like, trying to explain away and all this other good stuff before she tries to burn him and whatnot. So what's going to happen is Dany is going to give Tyrion a choice. Dany is going to be like, you got two choices. Either I burn you right here for betraying me, or you kill your sister. What's it going to be? And I think that's when Maggie the Frog's Valonqar story comes to fruition. And Tyrion reluctantly gets a one of the unsullied spears, and or Grey Worm is standing there too, and Grey Worm hands Tyrion his spear. Yeah, yeah, and Grey Worm walks up to Tyrion. Before the ultimatum is even put out there, she's like, "You got two choices. I either burn you," and then Grey Worm walks up and hands him a spear, and he takes his spear and and he's looking at Daenerys on the dragon, and nothing else is said after that. She doesn't even say, "Or you kill your sister." He just he has a spear in his hand, and he looks at he, and then he's like, and then he looks at Cersei, and she's standing there, beat up, half naked, with no army, no nothing, and a fiery dragon, the Dothrakis, the Unsullied, not a friend in the world standing there. And Tyrion is like, either I'm gonna go out like Dickon and Sam's father, because Dickon was like, I'm gonna go out with my father. Either it's gonna be one of those, Cersei and Tyrion is going, or Tyrion's gonna put a hole in Cersei's freaking heart more than once and watch her fade away and throw the spear down and walk away and save his own life. Hand of the queen. So it would be dope to see that. But that's not what's going to happen. But it would be, I could see it happening. That would be like, a few minutes sequence. It wouldn't even take up most of the story. But nonetheless, it would satisfy so many people that Tyrion gave it to his sister. But he had to. It wasn't like Tyrion did it out of anger. It was, if he didn't, this the Mad Queen we talking about. We not talking about anybody else. We talking about the Mad Queen. No, she's done. There is no more. Look, there is no more Daenerys. She is the Mad Queen. The Daenerys is done. She's done. She's done. All that loving, all of that. No, she's not loving nobody. She has no more love in her heart. She doesn't care about nobody. She's finished. Yeah, she's the Mad Queen. She took over her father's, you know what I'm saying? But now she's Queen of the Ashes. Yeah, and the thing about it is, I was saying this before, that the White Walker arc is not over with. So I was like, the White Walkers that we saw are not the original White Walkers. They're humans who were killed by other humans that were turned into White Walkers. The actual White Walkers are born White Walkers. They're called the others. If you look back thousands of years ago, where after Bran the Builder made the wall, there was a Stark that was at the Dreadfort, not the Dreadfort, was at Castle, the Night Fort. The Dreadfort and the Night Fort's two different places, which is along the wall. And what he did was he married a white. When he married this, she had blue eyes and white skin. She was an actual other. He couldn't marry. He couldn't marry a individual that wasn't cognizant. You see what I mean? So this wasn't like one of Craster's whites, that they turn the baby into a white and then they raise up and they turn into a white. However, they were relatives. This is why Samwell wasn't attacked by them. You noticed when the horn was blown 3 times for the first time and the whites were coming, they walked right past Sam, all of them. And the one white looked right at Sam. He looked right at him. And Sam was just like scared as heck. And it didn't attack him. But nonetheless, they're supposed to attack all men. No, they didn't attack Sam. Why? Because Sam was a friend to them. Gilly and Sam are mates, right? Well, Gilly's child would be a white, because little Sam would be turned into a white if they wouldn't have rescued him, right? So Craster would have babies and would take the babies and give them to the whites, and they would turn into, you know, the whites. So what I'm thinking is the race of whites and the Night King are two different whites, because the Night King was not born a white. He was a man that was turned into a white with dragon glass. He's not an other. He was turned that way. Yes, possible. But see, okay, here's what I'm getting at. The story arc of Azora High was, everybody thought it was going to be John, and they thought Nisa was going to be Danny, right? Which means he would have to take his sword, put it through her heart, and then come out and defeat the whites, right? Well, we already seen the Battle of Winterfell that lasted one night. That was not the long night. The long night lasts for 10 years or more. People are born and die during the long night. So we know those weren't the actual whites. Those weren't the whites from the long night. They were the whites from a grudge that the Night King had from the way he was made. So I think that what's going to happen in the next episode is they're going to flash all the way back to the north. Because remember, there are people who are headed back to the north, right? Jon Snow's good boy, his dog, he's headed back to the north. The wolf and the wildlings are headed back north, right? What I think is going to happen is there's going to be a cutscene after Cersei dies, and that cutscene is going to show Tormund and the wildlings in the north, and they're going to come across an original white. Yeah, we need Bran. People think Bran is going to take the throne. Well, there is, I mean, the throne room is all, full of human ash. But I think that's what's going to happen. I think they're going to see an original white, and I think the long night is going to start coming. And I think when it comes upon them, Jon is going to take his sword, stab it through Dany's heart to kill her, and he's going to have a flaming sword, and he's going to get on top of that dragon, and they're going to go at it. And I think that's going to be that. I think it's going to be a whole different... I just think it's going to be different. Because once Cersei dies, why are we watching it? To see who becomes king? People keeps... Oh, okay. And look, what if Jon dies? I'm just making up a whole new story. But what if Jon dies? Like, there's a whole nother battle for the long night. Just all of a sudden. And what if Jon dies? And then Bran... Yeah, I think Jon's going to take the dragon. He's going to get a crow. Yeah, Jon's going to take the dragon. He's going to stab Dany. He's going to take the dragon because he's going to hear about the whites that are actually there, because he's going to get a crow from Castle Black, because Castle Black is still standing. It got overran, but it didn't get destroyed. So he's okay. So there's 3 castles he could get it from. One is not occupied though. You gotta understand, there's 3 castles in the north that he could get. Well, there's actually 4. Well, no, those 2 are okay. The Night Fort is unoccupied. There's nobody there. So he could get it from Castle Black, if there's somebody there, or he could get it from Winterfell because we know there's people there. I was gonna say he could probably get it from Mort, but there's nobody at Mort Caitlin. Because remember they showed Mort Caitlin early in the series, so there's probably nobody at Mort Caitlin. Well, we know there's nobody there. There's nobody at the Dreadfort. There's nobody at Castle Black, and there's nobody at there's nobody at the Dreadfort. There's nobody at the other castle that's made of wood. I forgot what the name of that is. All those people are dead. So yeah, Winterfell is the only standing. Yeah, there's no Umber Castle. That's been taken over. The Karstarks, they're gone. So the whole north is pretty much wiped out. But yeah, he's gonna get a raven after he kills Danny, and Sansa is gonna be in trouble, and they're gonna have to march north, and they're gonna find out that the long night is actually starting to come. Uh, I mean, that would start a whole new thing, but that's just me being the writer that I am. I wrote a book called The Sorrowed King, and nobody's read it, but I wrote it. It's on Lulu.com. But yeah, so none of what I'm saying is gonna happen, but to finish, in order to tie the story arcs together, it would be nice. Yeah, yeah, that's why they call it bittersweet. So I could see that. You know, I could, but if I was the writer, that's how. If I was the show writer, that's how I would end it. I would send John north again, because there's nothing in King's Landing. I would have Yara show up in the Ironborn, and I would sail north again, meet up with Sansa, and then you would see the werewood spiders and all that, and then you would finally see what a lot of people was really wanting to see. You would see the Horn of Winter. We already saw it, but it was broken. You would see somebody blow the Horn of Winter and die, and when they blow the Horn of Winter, guess what happens? The crypts of Winterfell would open up. Now, we've already seen them open, but we didn't see all of the crypts open. We seen just a few people come out of there, but you didn't see the dire wolves stand up. You didn't see the crypts open up and them take a sword and come out and start killing. Like, that would, I mean, if it's in their budget, that would be my fantasy to see that. Like, that's what I wanted to see. The old kings come alive. Benjen just pop up out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Uh, all the old Starks, King Rob, you know what I'm saying? Lyanna, you know what I'm saying? Let's go, Lyanna. Just pop up, bones and whatnot, and everybody's just looking at them. Yeah, yeah, there has to be a spinoff. It's just too good. And we're going to be all over the spinoff. We're going to be all over. Uncat, Uncat coming out. I would love to see just the crypts of Winterfell empty with all of the dead Starks, all of the dead dire wolves, all with swords in their hand, the Horn of Winter being blown, and the true battle for the long night actually start, and it just goes crazy. Like, what the hell? Like, this is what the fire god was talking about. You know what I'm saying? This is what he really wanted. The Isle of Faces finally reveal what's going on with the Isle of Faces. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I would like to see that type of action, but you know, that's what I would do. That would bring all the story arcs together. Uh, and and of course, Azor Ahai being John, he dies, and somebody was like Bran taking the throne. Well, they're probably gonna have to build. Well, they're gonna have to build a new King's Landing. So why not Bran the Builder? That's what they do. That's what the Starks do. So Bran could be Bran the Builder again, and the King of Winterfell. I mean, it just sounds dope to me. Look, Bran may not want nothing, but here's the thing. Here's the thing I get out of the Three-Eyed Raven. The Three-Eyed Raven is a yeah, but the Three-Eyed Raven is a he's a know-it-all, but the realm, okay, okay, the Three-Eyed Raven's purpose is what? I mean, if you go look at if you go look at the Three-Eyed Raven and you think back to, for one, the Three-Eyed Raven's a Targaryen, you know, before Bran. But if you go look at the Three-Eyed Raven and you think back to what he was doing, you speculate if the Three-Eyed Raven actually helped cause the uh, the short summer that happened, and Rhaegar winning the tournament and giving the reward to Lyanna Stark, and then them getting together with the false summer. Did Rhaegar did like I said, he's a Targaryen back then. Did the Three-Eyed Raven have anything to do with the false summer? What I'm saying is, the Three-Eyed Raven is a manipulator. He is the only one, other than the people that live on the Isle of Faces, the gods of the Isle of Faces, the fire god, and the god of death. They're the only ones who actually can manipulate people, and they don't live in specific time. They're not regular human. So they don't so their life is not like anyone else's. They're born, they have family, yada yada, they get old, they die. Not with the Three-Eyed Raven. He does get old, but he doesn't live in the same timeline all the time. And he manipulates other people's abilities and thoughts in order to make something happen. So that's what I'm asking. If you're going to manipulate other people's ideas, what is it all for? Why? Why go through all that effort? The Night King is gone. The Lannisters are gone. Where's the threat coming from? Where you need to be the Three-Eyed Raven. Where you need to manipulate. Are you going to bring about another long summer or false summer? Are you going to manipulate another war? Like, what is the war for now? There's no one left to fight. There's no one left to fight. And you would think that's the end of it. Nah. Nah. There's plenty of people left to fight. You have the Targaryen bastards, the Blackfires, that live over in Bravo some damn where. They're going to know that it's an empty throne. You have Varys, who sent out letters to the Vale and all over Westeros, including across the Narrow Sea. They're all going to know that there's an empty throne. They're all going to know that Jon's a Targaryen. But if Jon dies, then who? So you have another power vacuum. And you have another struggle for power. Remember, the Blackfires swore that they would come back and take the throne. They're Targaryen bastards who were legitimized on their father's deathbed. Bitter Steel, all those guys. So they're still out there. Now, they were supposed to be part of the Golden Company. But when they showed up, there wasn't a Blackfire that was part of the Golden Company. So there's still a lot that's just questionable. Very questionable. And we didn't get a chance to see the Unsullied and the Golden Company go at it. My money would be on Unsullied. So that's what I'm saying. There's still a power vacuum there because, yeah, it does. Because the Vale, Lord of the Vale, who's, okay, so who's Lord of the Vale? Jon Arryn's dead. The little boy Arryn, what was his name? Is he still alive? He's still alive, right? Sansa's cousin. So he's still alive, even though his mother's dead. And yeah, he's still alive. He's a man now. And even though you don't see him. And Royce is still alive. Yeah, Royce didn't die. So there's still power in the Vale. The Vale's going to be called upon again. It's not over. It's just not over. It's just not over. It's just not over. Although a lot of the North is wiped out, the Vale is still in a position of power. They lost a lot of knights, but still. Also, the mountain people that fight with the Vale all the time, they're still there. Shoot. The Boltons didn't answer the call, but a lot of them are wiped out. The Boltons and the Umbers, a lot of them are Small John dead. So the Boltons are gone. Most of them are gone. But the Dreadfort is still there. The Ironborn is still there. And the people from the Riverlands. So you got the people from the Riverlands, from the Stormlands that are still there. And what's his name is still alive? The Blackfish's nephew. He was never killed. The goofy one. He's the Lord of Riverrun, the goofy dude. Because remember, they surrendered to Jaime Lannister. So you have the people of Riverrun still there. Uh, there's just a lot of abandoned castle. So you have no more Knights of the Flowers. They're all gone. Uh, Queen of Thorns. They're all eliminated. That whole castle's empty. But Samwell's people. Samwell is the Lord of Hornhill. So you still have the people of Hornhill, but yeah. So, but they were vassals to the Queen of Thorns until they turned against her. So you're still gonna have people. You're still gonna have some of those people in Hornhill because his mom is still there. So they weren't all taken over, and you're still gonna have people like the High Towers. You're still gonna have some of those people left, and then when you head down to White Harbor, White Harbor wasn't invaded. And listen, White Harbor's biggest problem from invasion was the wildlings. The wildlings no longer invade White Harbor. That's it. So that's over with. So you still got White Harbor there. It's just there's a whole lot. There's a lot of people that are around and who have these names that could be in a position of power. You know, and if poor Gendry, we think he's still alive. If Gendry Yeah, and if Gendry, okay, so Gendry is Lord of the Stormlands, right? So if Gendry doesn't go to the Stormlands with a matriarch or patriarch, then he's not going to be king of the storm or lord of the Stormlands. Hell, Gendry, look. If Daenerys dies and Jon dies, the next rightful king is Gendry. The rightful king, he's King Robert's son, is Gendry. So if Jon dies, the dragon dies, the queen dies, the two queens die, the person in the position of power is Robert's son. That's it. The king's blood. All hail Gendry. King of the first men and all that other stuff. And you put a Baratheon, on a throne. So basically, if that happened, then the new King's Landing would be in the Stormlands, which is possible. The new King's Landing would be in the Stormlands. It makes good sense. Yeah, he's a rightful king. So yeah, the Stormlands. And then yeah. But there are a lot of empty castles. There are a lot of empty castles. but there's still the small folk. There are a lot of small folk that are around. But Gendry's not one of them. So who could be king? That's who you'd be looking at. I mean, if a male's gonna be king, John doesn't want to be king. Daenerys lost her damn mind, so she's gonna die. Uh, okay. So yeah, you got Three-Eyed Raven. He doesn't want to be king. The Starks don't want to be king. So it's amazing the Starks don't want to be king, but one of the Stark female wants to be queen. So I say marry her up to Gendry. Let's say Tyrion dies. He wasn't in line to be king anyway. Hell, he could be, but they really don't have a claim to the throne. Yeah, and Gendry is a good man. Now, remember what Sir Davos was saying. He said, "What if the land was ruled for once by a just king and a just woman?" Guess who that would be? If you weed out all the people who don't want it, all the people who you know are going to die, and then look at the bloodlines of all the people who are good, because you wiped out almost everybody in King's Landing. So if you look at all the people who are good and would be good rulers, you come up with two names. You come up with Gendry and you come up with Sansa. And those two being married is not far fetched. There's no incest. There's they know each other, but they don't have any feelings towards each other. But it's highly possible in order to rule. They both come from royal blood. And then you leave Bran in Winterfell instead of him going all the way back north. And then Bran stays in Winterfell. There must always be a Stark in Winterfell. Or they can rule from Winterfell. Gendry's not opposed to it. They probably won't, though. Probably go back to the Stormlands. I don't know. But I could see Sansa and Gendry ending up on the throne. That would make good sense. They have all the power that they need. Yeah, there you go. There you go. There you go. Gendry and Sansa. Yeah, what do you think about that? Yeah, Arya. Okay. Yeah, okay. Arya, here's what I think about Arya. Arya's story arc, the way it was created, the way the way they stifled it in the last episode. Arya finally changes her mind on what she wants to do. She wants to be this, or she is this assassin, but there's nobody else on her list. She doesn't need to live that way. She's not going to settle down and be a queen. That's not what she does. I say she goes back to where she's needed. Because Arya, her life is not a just live and let live. Her life is a purpose. So she's going to go and find purpose with her skills. She's going to go and find it. You know, wherever purpose is, Arya's going to find out where it is. And there's one place she could go to find purpose. You know? You know? She's going to go and seek out the one person who gave her purpose. You know? So she could go to a few different places. She could go seek out Dario Naharis, the second sons, because you know how they live. Plus they're allies with the queen. So she'll be welcome there amongst the second sons in Marine. Or she could go and, you know, and serve the god of death and just roam around the country. Go find Jaqen Nahar and do whatever Jaqen says. So that could happen. And I could see that. I could see her running around with Jaqen for a minute and then dipping off and running up in the Bravos. You know what I'm saying? And pretty much that's the life she'll live. She'll be kind of like a sellsword. But she'll go wherever the fight is. Wherever, she'll be like a manipulator. If a king needs killed, that ain't right. She'll be somebody that you hire like the Golden Company. And that'd be her purpose. That's her purpose. She'll be making the world a better place wherever she is. Nah, she's not a lady. And we don't want her to be a lady. Ladies, let me tell you something. Ladies have their purpose. Like Sansa is a lady. Her manipulation came from her beauty and putting a child in her and all that other stuff. Ramses was misunderstood. He was an Ramses. I don't know where you got nice from. You could tell from what he did to Theon, Ramses was not a nice person. And he lived in a place called the Dreadfort. Dreadfort. His sigil was the flayed man. And he flayed the men at Mort Caitlin. No. He was like, what? You think we was going to let him go? He flayed right. He flayed Theon's people in front of him. In front of him. As soon as they came out of Mort Caitlin, he surrounded them, put them on the thing, and flayed them in front of Theon. Nah, that's not what you call nice, bro. Not to mention what he did to Sansa was just unnecessary. She was already your wife. I mean, she was your wife, and she was there by unity. So she was gonna give you the draws. You didn't have to, do damage to her and mess her whole mind up. She was your wife. She's obligated to, be with you. But you terrorize your wife, like, nah, bro. And then kill your dad, and then you kill your you kill your brother by letting him get eaten by dogs. I mean, you know, he would have been more he would have been more heir to the Bolton name than you because but then your father legitimized you. Well, yeah, you were a Snow. But your father did legitimize you. But you see what happens when you legitimize bastards. Well, like, dang, he did so much. And then what you did to poor, you know what I'm saying, John's little brother. We thought it was his little brother. Nah, he wanted more than that. Nah, he wanted more than that. He wanted more than his dad to be proud of him. Bruce Boyton is poisoned by Daenerys Targaryen. Roose Bolton was slain by his son. But Roose Bolton was a bastard too. That red wedding trick that he did, that was unnecessary, bro. You should have told the Lannisters hell no. You should have told the Lannisters hell no, but you did it anyway. And his father legitimized him. You didn't look. How's your father gonna give you the rightful name and then you off him like that? I mean, how you gonna do that? His father gave you the right name. Yeah, he was just crazy. He was just crazy. That's all there's to it. He was just crazy. Ramsay was just a nutcase. He enjoyed that. You gotta understand, the Boltons hated the Starks. They both really hated each other. They both hated each other. And the Boltons, they used to have what? My father was killed by his enemies. Huh? Poisoned by his enemies. Danny Daenerys. I'm lost, bro. I don't know what you're talking about. Wow. I couldn't stand the Boltons. I couldn't stand the Boltons, but they made for good TV. Ramsey, look, you liked Ramsey more than Roos, but if you were in the story, you would have liked Roos more than Ramsey. No, I'm not. The Starks were horrible people. The Starks weren't all good. They brutalized the North. The Stark Kings brutalized the North. They took it by force. And the Targaryens, come on. We all know what the Targaryens did. So, no, I'm not blinded by propaganda. If there's a good Targaryen, listen, I was on Dany's side all the way up until she burned everybody in King's Landing. I was Team Dany. I was Team Dany. I was with Dany. Nah, they did way too much though. Bro, I was Team Dany. For sure. Look, I didn't even think. That's why I was looking at it. Even though John's a Targaryen, we knew, I still wanted to see Dany on the throne because all her life, that's what she wanted. And she went through hell to get it. I was with her all the way up until she started looking around the Stark's house when she was sitting in that chair and saw John getting praised. When John started getting all that praise from Torment, I was like, it's over. It's over. I knew it was in. I was like, that love is gone. Now John feels weird that that's his niece or whatever. I was like, nah, it's over. She's about to flip. And then her girl died, got her head cut off, and then she lost another dragon. I was like, that's the tipping point. That's the tipping point. When she couldn't get no more nookie. Look, I think Dany's pregnant. When Dany couldn't get no more Targaryen, look, you got to understand, a Targaryen alone in the world is a dangerous thing because they go mad. This was the Mad King's problem. The Mad King thought everyone betrayed him. He thought he was alone. When they think they're alone, they lash out. That's exactly why Dany snapped out. She thought she was alone. You took away her best friend. You took away her dragon. You took away her man. She has no love there. No, that was it. Dude, Ramses was a nutcase. Ramses was a nutcase. He didn't have to do half the stuff he did. Not to mention, he took Winterfell. The way he took Winterfell. He didn't have to kill Rickard. He didn't have to kill Rickard Stark. Or whatever his name was. He didn't have to kill that boy. You never convinced me that Ramsay Bolton was a good dude. It's not gonna happen. Regardless of what the Starks did to them, the Starks been doing stuff to them. Heck, they used to have a Bolton called the Red Arm because he used to tear the hearts out of Stark princes. He used to reach his arm inside their chest and rip their heart out. Nah, but that's back when there was. That's back when there were. What? Where do you get that from? Ramsay wasn't trying to establish a utopia. Bro, I don't know what you was watching. Yeah, bro, I don't know what you was watching. Ramses wasn't trying to establish no utopia, bro. What are you talking about? Ramses had no desire for a utopia. He ruled by fear because that's what the Boltons do. Hell, that's what the Starks do. What are you talking about, man? They rule by fear. Yeah, the Boltons rule by fear, bro. That's what they know. The Dreadfort, the flayed man. Nah, bro. Nah. There's nothing utopic about the flayed man. Anyway, so yeah, Gendry and Sansa get married. A little plot twist for you. Gendry and Sansa have some Stark princes. Is a symbol for an upside down system. So that you're saying that the flayed man sigil is political? It is a symbol of the Starks ruling the North and how upside down it is? Help me out, because I'm lost. I'm hungry too. Listen, there's only one time where I sided with the Boltons. When Robb Stark wouldn't listen to Ramsay, or to when Robb Stark wouldn't listen to Roose Bolton, and Roose Bolton kept giving him advice, and Robb Stark was being arrogant. You know what I'm saying? He's a good strategist. He had less men than the Southern Lords did, Lannisters. and he sacrificed 2,000 men just to get Jaime Lannister. So he was a good strategist, but he let the wrong head guide him. The Frey girl wasn't bad looking, but he figured he was going to make everything right by giving them his nephew. But his nephew was not Lord of Riverrun at that time. The Blackfish could have stepped in. Plus, Hoster Tully was still alive. So then Hoster Tully died. And the Blackfish, he didn't want to be Lord of Riverrun. So that made Admiral Lord of Riverrun. Now, when he became Lord of Riverrun, Admiral was actually married to a Frey. But they tied him up in a black cell. And Admiral consummated his marriage to the Frey girl. That baby is still alive. Because Jaime Lannister, when he went to Riverrun, he was talking to Admiral about his son. He was like, I'll take your son and throw him off the wall. And I'll do it all just to get back to Cersei. So Admiral was just like, okay, surrender Riverrun. And that's what they did. So when you look at Admiral in his position, he wasn't even taken serious until Hoster Tully died and the Blackfish died. He became Lord of Riverrun. After he became Lord of Riverrun, he started being serious. Remember, he was doing stupid things, and he wouldn't listen to the King of the North at that time, which was Robb. So that's the only time I sided with the Boltons. With Roose Bolton. But with Roose Bolton came Roose Bolton's army. So that's the only time I sided with them, when Robb should have took their advice. But Robb he wasn't going to take their advice because he's like, I'm King of the North, And he was a good strategist, but he was not very good. Even his mother was giving him advice, but he wouldn't listen to his mom either. And they was like, stay away from the foreign girl. Don't, you can knock her off, but don't marry the foreign girl. And they got bastards all over the place. He could have still knocked off the foreign girl, but he let his heart, and you had to understand, the way Robb was raised, he was raised with honor because of Ned's his father, and he was also raised as a lover. While he was growing up, Jon even said the girls liked Robb more. So he's easily swayed by the fair sex. And that's basically his undoing, his honor of his heart, and his being persuaded by a nice pair of, a nice rack. And that's what happened. That girl was beautiful. And, so he was like, go with your heart, go with what you honor. And it was just the wrong move. So that's the only time I was with the Boltons. Other than that, I never liked the Boltons. Never. How? How do you get all that? There was nothing cool about Ramses. Ramses destroyed people. He raped his wife. What? If Ramses, listen, if Ramses was what you're saying he was, a soldier for the good, and trying to knock down the elitist Starks, who were the kings of the North, the kings of winter for thousands of years, who were actually fighting against the Boltons at one time when the Boltons were the Red Kings. And the Boltons had actually at one time defeated the Starks and took Winterfell. They did it twice. The Boltons took Winterfell twice. So let's not act like the family of the Boltons was just like the same system, the same setup that they had, that the Starks have, the Boltons didn't have thousands of years ago, because they did. They beat the Starks in battle twice and took Winterfell. Okay? So, nah, bro. They had the same system set up. It's just that now is the Starks' time. Yeah, but you're talking about V from Vendetta, bro. You're saying he was a Joker of some type. The the oh, whew. Yeah, bro. Yeah, but I think this. Um, I think there will be a Stark that's in Winterfell and stay in Winterfell. I think the tree that the Raven, the three-eyed Raven, used to hang at, that area is gone. It's no longer there. Uh, I think the tree is gone. The magic of the tree is gone. It's no longer safe to be there, even though the dead haven't risen. What about my view? You tell me your truth in Westeros. Good for you. Tell you my truth. I'll tell you who I believe is good. I believe. Okay, here's what I believe. I believe kingdoms should be ran by good people. However, this doesn't happen that much, even in real life. It just it just doesn't happen that often where kingdoms are ran by good people. And I've chosen my two good people to run the kingdom. I've chosen my two good people. Turn my light on. Hold on a second. My two good people are Gendry and Sansa. They both been through it. They both have the name. They both have the pedigree. Uh, Gendry's of the Stormlands. Sansa's of the North. Uh, they're not related. Uh, Gendry has Gendry has a small bit of Targaryen in him. It's another thing people ain't realize. Gendry has Targaryen blood. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, Gendry has Targaryen blood from his great uncle Magus or something like that. Orson. Orson Targaryen, who took over the Stormlands from shoot, forgot what his name was, because he met him in the open field in one-on-one battle when he went to Storm's End. He met his army. Robert's grandmother was a Targaryen, right? And what he did was he met his army in an open battle, and he killed the king, the Storm King at that time, and then his daughter, when he went to Storm's End, his daughter was just like, she raised the battlement. She was like, "Nah, you're not getting nothing here. You have to kill me." But her soldiers were like, "Oh hell no!" So they took her. They took all of her clothes off, and they brought her outside naked and put her before uh, Orson or whatever his name, Targaryen, uh, and but he was a Baratheon, and instead of knocking her off, he decided to marry her, and yeah, and that's how the Baratheons became to be. So yeah, so Gendry has Targaryen blood in him. I don't know if he has enough blood to be a dragon rider, because you have to understand all Targaryens were not dragon riders. Um, so he would have to have that type of magic. But who's to say that he doesn't? Because Melisandre wanted his blood, and she used dark magic on his blood, with his blood. So Gendry's blood is potent. In my opinion, Gendry is in very effect of Arya, and Arya is a identity political worshiper. There would be no importance of any identity rather than struggle between arrogance and good. I'm not sure what you're saying. There would be no struggle between, I don't know what you're talking about. Between identity and, maybe I'm just too hungry. Identity political worshiper. So basically, anyone who is a Stark is a status. So you're being very political. Yes. Anyone who's a Stark is a elitist, status quo elitist that should be taken down by a rogue or a some type of anarchist, create bedlam, and bring them down in order to erase the status quo and normalize everything. That's what I think you're getting at. So down with government is what you're saying. The Starks are okay, so the Starks are a governing body. This is true. But Ramsay was a governing body. He was a governor of his land. He was Lord of the Dreadfort. That comes with all its lands and titles. He was part of the problem, according to you. Ramsay was not a lowborn. He was highborn, even though he was a Snow. But when he was legitimized, he was even more highborn. The Boltons were kings. They were called the Red Kings. So all your talk about the elite and all this other political stuff you're saying, it all boils down to down with those who are highborn. Get rid of those who are highborn, the upper class, the privileged that were born into privilege. Get rid of them and let some V from Vendetta character come along and bring everybody down to the same level. Bring everybody down to small folk level. Well, here's the problem with that. There's always been a ruling class. We have one right here, right now. And it's not all the time that the ruling class is bad. You are not narcissist, but you are not a Marxist, but Marx has a very logical opinion for importance of class struggle. Yeah, that's what I thought. Rather than ethnic or gender identity. Ramsay was born in an obsessor class, but he chose his way of revolution. Ramsay was not a revolutionist, and I'm not going to make the political conversation. Ramsay was not a revolutionist. That's all I have to say about that. He was not a revolutionist. I don't know what story you were watching, but Ramsay was nowhere near a revolutionist. I don't know what you was watching, bro. Ramsay was not a... Let me tell you who's a revolutionist. Arya Stark is a revolutionist. You want your V from Vendetta character? It's Arya Stark. She was a revolutionist. Okay? The Sand Snakes. They were revolutionists. The Sand Snakes were definitely revolutionists. Ladia Sand and her 3 daughters. And is Ladia Sand dead? She was locked up in a black cell. Is she dead? We don't even know if she's dead. We don't even know if she's dead. Right, Ramses is long gone. We know Ramses is dead. We all watched him die. Where are you from anyway? But Ladia Sand, is she dead? We know the Sand Snakes are dead. Well, we know not all of them. Not all the Sand Snakes died. 2 of them died, right? Okay, so, and you got the one girl who was part of the Shame, the one that shamed Cersei. They were all locked up in a cell. She's the one that the religious chick, the quiet one. This is true. All that time, I wonder how she killed her. Cersei was a murderer. You just wonder how Cersei killed that girl. Because she killed her daughter? Oh no, you're not getting away with nothing. She probably starved her to death because she didn't want her to die quickly. What is she? No, poison? I think it was poison. I think she poisoned her. She did something to her. Cersei, man. But she killed her daughter, though. I can't help you, bro. When you did that one, I couldn't help you. I was like, ooh, sand snakes. I can't help you, sand snakes. You killed Cersei's daughter. That's a whole nother level. That's a whole nother level of hatred. I can't help you with that one. You on your own. And you took over Dorne. And you took over Dorne. You killed the king of Dorne. And his son. Nah. 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 I could. After they killed the king of Dorne and the prince of Dorne, that was it. That was it. I was done with them. Because they wanted peace. And I would want peace. But now they got somebody else to. Yeah, she poisoned her daughter, didn't she? But we never saw how she died. Oh, Cersei. I don't know. I would have got her ass too. You killed my kid. Like I said, when she killed that beautiful, beautiful girl, that was it. I was done. I was like, oh, bro, I got nothing. What? Bro, you are a guy, right? How are you taking every bad character and saying that they're misunderstood? How do you even fix yourself? I don't get it. I don't get it. And you say that you're saying that, bro, you don't know that. Do you even know the history of these people? You don't even, bro, go back and look at Game of Thrones lore and look at who the Cleganes were. Look at the Cleganes, bro. Just look at them. The only good, listen, okay. So the Cleganes sigil, of course, comes from the three dogs that saved the Lannister from the lion. And then they've been under the Lannisters' care ever since. But the thing is Gregor Clegane killed one of his sisters. He killed maidens. He would just kill them. He killed maidens. And of course, what he did to Sandor was just horrific. The Mountain was a killer. That's what he was. There's no misunderstanding about it. Like he was, and the thing about it is, it didn't say his father made him a killer. Well, was he used by evil? Yeah, he was a tool. Yeah, he was used by evil because he was a tool. He was used by, they were both used to do evil. Sandor, too. He ran down that little stable boy. You know, that's why Arya wanted to kill him. Ran him down and gutted him. Sandor killed those two people who lived on the farm because he took their money. They couldn't buy any food, so they were starving to death. So the father stabbed the little girl and stabbed himself. And he buried them. I mean, they're just cruel people. Look at what he did to the Kingsmen in that bar fight. He didn't have to do that. So the Cleganes were taller than most people and stronger than most people. They have uncanny strength because, you know, they were, you know, it's said that they have, you know, giant's blood in them. Nah, nah, bro. He killed his sister, bro. What, what more evil do you want to... He killed his sister. He used to smack around women and kill women. And this is why he was a teenager. He would crack women in the face so hard it would break their face. I don't know what you were reading or what you know about it, but you need to go look at Game of Thrones lore. The Mountain is a ridiculously evil person. He would, I mean, he was just, yeah, bro, you never gonna get me to agree with that. But was he used by powerful people? Yeah, of course. That's the way people with certain skills are. You know, they're used by other people. You know? He had a knack for killing people, so he would cut people in half, bro. You can't tell me Gregor wasn't evil. He was cutting people in half. Shoot. You see what he did to Beric Dondarrion? Both the Clegane brothers killed Beric Dondarrion. Both of them. The Mountain put a lance through Beric Dondarrion's heart. Man was killed 8 times. Yeah, he was evil. But he's the only one that stood his height. And that powerful. So I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? Gregor was evil. You see what he did to Qyburn? You ungrateful bastard. How you gonna do Qyburn like that? And the thing about it, look, this is what I'm thinking. The whole time Gregor was brought back to life, or not, he wasn't even brought back to life. He wasn't dead all the way. You know what I was thinking? He was faking it. Because we thought he was a mindless drone. That's what we thought. We thought he was a white. He was like a gray. That's what we thought. Nah. He was like, I'm all here. I'm good. I do what the hell I want to. I just let them think that, you know what I'm saying, that they got something over me. Where am I going to go looking like this? I got everything I need. I don't need to eat. I don't need to rest. All that is gone. I got a woman in a black cell. I can go down there and do whatever I want to her. I got a brand new outfit on. I'm good. An Islamic type of, oh, okay, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm not doing that. You're not putting that in my head, brother. You're not putting that stuff in my head. I'm not doing that with you. No, you go somewhere else with that. This is a non-fictional story. This is a this is Game of Thrones, brother. You doing too much. I'm not doing all that with you. I'm not doing all that. I'm not even gonna read that. Cause I know what you're doing now. Nah. Not here. Not today. I'm not with none of that. I'm not with none of that. What you trying to do, bro? It's Game of Thrones, bro. That's what it is. It's Game of Thrones. You can take all that extra stuff. If this was a political conversation, fine. But you keep trying to put real world issues and politics into the Game of Thrones, and it just, no, I'm not. You became a what? Oh, let me read this because you about to rub me the wrong way. You became a censor under the influence of a Stark. Oh, see, I'm done. I'm not going to block you because I don't think you're trying to troll me. I think you're just a real political. You just got a real political side of way of looking at things, and you're taking the show too serious, and you're trying to interject something that just doesn't fit. If you look at the politics of Game of Thrones, it's pretty simple. But if you start talking about who's an elitist, who's a censorer, okay, fine, the Starks were elitists. But you can't only say the Starks were elitists. There's a ruling class, which automatically means they're elitists. Are they born that way? Yes. Then you can't say that someone isn't evil, but they're doing evil things. You can't exclude a habit that is visible and very prominent in a character story arc and say, "Oh, that's not evil. That's just them loving you with a strong hand." It makes me think that you're trying to, you're trying to get something out of conversation that's not there. You're doing what people usually say is too much or the most. It's just not necessary. I'm not diving in like that on Game of Thrones, and I'm hungry. I'd love to get a pizza right now. So no, I'm not doing that with you. I got some spaghetti downstairs I'm gonna get. But yeah, I'm not doing that. It's Game of Thrones, bro. And I'm not Team Stark. I'm Team Good. I'm Team I was a king. Or if I was the small folk. If I was the small folk, I would have, if I was a small folk, I would automatically be like, yo, you need to take the Dragon Queen and get rid of her. No more dragons. And they did that before. not going to change the topic. The topic is the Game of Thrones, you know. But you're trying to bring some political stuff into it that's just not there. Whole square peg thing. Uh, but yeah, I'm team good. If I was the small folk after seeing what happened to King's Landing, there's no way okay. There's no way I would be in favor of the Dragon Queen ruling. But okay, here's something political for you. It's not a democracy. They don't get the vote. It's called what's that? An oligarchy. So they don't get the vote. They just serve under who's the Lord at that time. Because they're the small folk. They're just trying to get a bowl of brown. That's what's important to them. A bowl of brown. You know what I'm saying? You pretend it's chicken, but you know it's not chicken. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to survive, you know, living down on Flea Bottom. But now Flea Bottom's gone. So is was it? It wasn't Diagon Alley. Was it Diagon Alley? But Flea Bottom's gone. You know what I'm saying? No more Flea Bottom. It's gone. The only place that I could get a good bowl of brown. And kill the queen. Kill her. She took away Flea Bottom, man. I didn't care about Maegor's hold fast. I'm a small folk. I wasn't born highborn. I'm one of those people. That's the way I'm looking at it. I don't care who's the ruling class. What I care about is I'm starving. So you have the fields of wheat. We can't get no more wheat coming in from the south? Because you killed the Queen of Thorns? You goofball. You killed her in the Reach. Highgarden. Where do you think all the food came from? All the food came from Highgarden. So you took that out. There's no one in Highgarden. The castle's empty. Everybody in Highgarden is dead. All of them. There's no food coming this way. Nah, not having it. No more Flea Bottom. It's over. There's also no one at Castle Rock. But there's also no gold at Castle Rock. There's no gold at Castle Rock either, but that's a damn fortified castle. The most complete fighter, Westeros and Essos combined. My favorite are Syrio Forel, who's dead, Khal Drogo, who's dead, Sir Arthur Dayne, who's dead, and that person fought against Jon Snow in Beyond the Wall. The person that fought against Jon Snow Beyond the Wall, who did he fight against Beyond the Wall? What's going on, Edwards? I don't know who he fought against beyond the Wall. Jon fought against a lot of people beyond the wall. He killed Corrin Halfhand. Oh, yeah, the dude was the best cutthroat. And that's another dude who lived in Flea Bottom. He was he wasn't Locke. Locke also died out there in the north. Locke was the one who cut off Jaime Lannister's hand. He was Yeah, the dude with the double knives. I'll think of his name later. Lord Snow, come to give me justice. Stabbed him in his ischium. Hit him right in the bone. Shoot. Yeah, he was a hired cutthroat. Yeah, he was good. But I'd say the best hand-to-hand fighter, hand-to-hand fighter. Okay, I agree with everybody you said. Sir Mormon was good too. Sir Mormon was excellent because Sir Mormon didn't always kill you, and he threw that spear and saved Khaleesi's life. That was a dope throw. So he's gonna be in my top 5. Shoot. John's gonna be in my top 5. Torment. Torment Giantbane is gonna be in my top 5. He took on the leader of the Night's Watch and beat him, which was Sir I forgot his name. The dude who helped kill John. Couldn't stand John. So Tormund's gonna be in my top 5, and he's super strong. Tormund has the strength of a giant. That's why he's always screaming. And he beat Small John Umber. He beat Small John. So yeah, it's gonna be, well, if you're taking living or dead, if you're going living right now, it would be, I'm gonna go with, my favorite is probably gonna be Torment. You know, because he also stood up to the Thin, the Magna of the Thin. He's like, I'll answer, to the king, but I won't answer you. I believe he would have gotten the Thins, would have got any. The Umber guy fought against Torment. Yeah, he fought against Torment. Yeah, Small John Umber. Yeah, with the chains for the sigil. Yeah, he was nice with it, but he lost to Torment. Um, Brienne. Brienne's gonna be in my top 3. I mean, she handled Jamie well. Jamie lost his hand too, but she stood up against the whites. Brienne was dope, and she also beat the Hound. So my top fighter, living or dead, I would give it to Gregor, but Gregor had the advantage of being an undead. So, I mean, he got stabbed in the eye and he just pulled the knife out. So, it's just unfair. If we're going to do that, then the Night's King would probably be at the top. But if you're just taking regular human, I'm going to go with Brienne. Brienne took on 3 guys and knocked them all off. And she also beat, the Hound. So the Hound took on 5 guys and knocked them all off. So if you're looking at how many people somebody beat in a one-on-one, the Hound beat more people in a one-on-one than anyone. And he was beaten by Brienne. So Brienne is probably going to be the top fighter in Westeros and Essos. There you got it. Now, if you're looking at history, you definitely got to be looking at the Sword of the Morning. I would say the Sword of the Morning he was a better fighter than even the Kingsguard in his younger day. So if I was looking at history, I would say the Sword of the Morning, because the Sword of the Morning beat the Smiling Knight. And the Smiling Knight was a they were like a band of rovers, and he took him. He took and the Smiling Knight asked him, because his sword was cracked when they fought, and he was like, give me your sword. He wanted, the milky white sword, who they thought was Sword of the Morning, but that wasn't it. The sword was called Starfall or something like that. And he was like, you can have it. And, he thought that the sword was Sword of the Morning. Nah, it was Sir Arthur Dane. So in history, Sir Arthur Dane is the best fighter. Second in history is going to be the guy who was the King's Guard, and then they told him to go on. Sir, and then he died in Essos. So there's your 1-2. Because he went to Old Wick and just got busy. I think Arya versus Brienne fight was not very, not at all. Arya is a skillful warrior, but Brienne is way more superior fighting. Arya is overpowered. I say, yeah, there's. Plus, Brienne wasn't trying to kill Arya. Well, they weren't trying to kill each other. Do I think that Arya would have got, if they really came down to it and Arya and Brienne really had to fight? Do I think Arya would get her licks in? Absolutely. Arya is way too fast and Brienne is way too tall. And that's what they were illustrating. Brienne's height, in that case, is her downfall. But her strength and skill, there's no way that Arya would have finished her off. No way. But would she have gave her a good fight? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, she's way too fast, way too quick. But she would have lost. So yeah, Sir Barristan Selmy, he's my second in history, in Westeros history. So it would be Sir Arthur Dane, Sir Barristan Selmy, Sir Arthur Dane, Sir Barristan Selmy, probably Robert Baratheon would fall in third. Nah. Nah, nah. Oh, that's a hard one. You'd have to put both the Cleganes in the top five somewhere. That's a hard one. So, if I was just gonna guess, it'd be Selmy, Sir Arthur Dane, Gregor Clegane when he was normal, Sandor Clegane, Brienne would be my top five. And then you would probably be looking at Robert, because Robert did kill, another king at that time. And then he went, he went down the Pike and he brought down the walls of Pike, and he made that king surrender, the Ironborn. So yeah, so it'll be around there. Throw in a Jamie Lannister, and then of course Braun of the Blackwater. Throw him in there. He's in the top 10, and the guard from the